All right. Hopefully this is working now. I started this original video as a private live stream, and I already made a mistake 1 second into the video. So here we go. If you guys are joining this video, so I'm going to start doing live streams around this time at night, which would be 9:30-ish Eastern time. Basically, as of right now, YouTube is in a weird algorithm cycle where a lot of subscribers and new viewers, you guys are not able to see a lot of the videos I'm posting for the day. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. So what I started to do is just go live around this time and recap everything we talked about and give you guys an opportunity to interact with the videos and let me know what you guys think about what we're watching. And I see some people are trickling in. What's up, Ziggy7668? And for the people who are watching TV, I know there's not much you guys can do. I know it's very difficult to like, to even subscribe, or really to do anything. So I appreciate the TV crowd. As of right now, 54% of people watch me from their TV. Wild. What's up, Jonathan? So if you guys are joining and you do have the ability, make sure to please like the live stream. It helps out a ton, and all the other subscribers can see what's going on. So in this video, we're going to be talking about a former city council president, Ben Stuckart, who may be in some pretty big trouble. Now, this is a protest that occurred back on June 11th. And I think right now on my channel, we have covered like almost every single protest that happened back in June 11th. And we're seeing more and more protesters be charged and be found guilty of these charges. Thank you, MT. I am so thankful for your hard work, says MT. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. So let's get through this and see. This was the original report back in July. So let's go ahead and get a baseline, and then we will look at the actual DOJ report in detail and see what the DOJ had to say. So again, make sure you guys are liking. Helps out a lot.
Spokane City Council President and 8 others.
Right off the bat, I have to stop real quick. Thank you for the $5 donation from Anthony. Anthony says he'll blame Trump. Right off the bat, I appreciate the donation. Let's see. Maybe he will blame Trump. Maybe.
Faced a federal judge for charges tied to last month's ICE protest in Spokane. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy was in the federal courthouse for their hearings this afternoon. He joins us.
And again, this is from July.
Us in the news.
And then we will get the updated version just like a day ago.
With more about the charges they're facing.
Well, the grand jury indicted 9 people for the charge of conspiracy to impede or injure officers. 2 of those 9 face an additional charge of assault on a federal officer, employee, or person assisting a federal officer. All these charges are still pending as of now.
It's been 1 month since a protest outside the Spokane ICE facility on June 11th led up to smoke and pepper balls deployed by the Spokane Police Department. Police made more than 24 arrests that night, including former Spokane City Council President Ben Stuckart, who organized the protest. Stuckart called for it after the detention of 2 immigrants, one of which is a 21-year-old Venezuelan man who Stuckart became the legal guardian of 3 weeks before the protest. Today, 9 people, including Stuckart, faced a judge for the charge of conspiracy to impede or injure officers.
Now, today in my video, I said this is a very big deal. And the reason why this is a very big deal is because according to the initial report about this entire story, there was a call to action on social media. On my own YouTube channel, I think we've seen like 5 or 10 separate occasions where we've actually gone straight to the TikTok or the social media post that says, hey, be here, or ICE is here, show up. So somebody's actually potentially about to be in some pretty big trouble for this.
The father of defendant 35-year-old Bajan Mavawala II.
Let me address this comment real quick, and thank you Swamp Fox for being a member. Homie MT says, I'm glad DOJ isn't rushing these charges. We're fighting not just ridiculous rioters, but local judges too. That is a very good point. Again, I say this all the time in my videos. A #1 complaint I see all the time is, why are people not being charged? Why are people not in trouble? I think it's safe to say there are cases already open. We're seeing it in Portland where people were being investigated from all the way back in June, and then just a week ago, they get charged.
Was in the courtroom for his appearance. He believes the charges against his son are unacceptable.
The amount of government resources that are being wasted on people who were protesting in favor of human rights. It's unconscionable. It's a waste of taxpayers' money.
Mavawala and Stuckart are among the 7 released from federal custody today. Mikki Hatfield and Bobbi Silva remain in custody for an assault charge. Spokane Mayor Brown released a statement on the matter, saying in part she is outraged, calling this a politically motivated action. Spokane City Council member Paul Dillon also released a statement saying he's advocating for the charges to be dropped. And Washington Senator Patty Murray says she is against the indictment, saying we cannot be silent, and I will be contacting DOJ directly regarding this gross abuse of federal resources.
Okay, so the other city councilors are upset. Now, we covered this today in my video. Hey, thank you for the $10. Thank Zella, please. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. And thank you, Zella. Ziggy says, I love how they keep acting like they were only peaceful protesting. Let me see if I have a video. I should. It was a very peaceful protest. What are you talking about? Funny enough, this is what the Trump administration, or I guess the DOJ says. Here, let me make this bigger for you. This is the initial police report. The very first line, we respect and honors everyone's right to peacefully protest. However, comma, the few who choose to cross the line from protest to violence and destruction will be held accountable. Now, again, we talked about this today. This is a pretty big deal to me because if they can get this guy in trouble, I'm sure they can get a lot of other people in trouble for this. According to the court documents and information shared in court, on June 11th, 2025, at approximately 12:52 p.m., Stuckart posted on social media a call to others to come and join him as he blocked a bus that was going to be used to transport the federal detainees held at the federal facility in Spokane to Tacoma for their immigration hearings. Archer and the other co-conspirators arrived in response to the post, along with Stuckart, blocked the pathway and door to the transport bus despite orders to disperse. Yeah, not good. As alleged in the indictment, a short time later, Forral parked his vehicle to block the exit path of the bus. Forral and Lang then released air from the tires of the bus, and the other co-conspirators painted the windshield of the bus, rendering it unsafe to drive. Now, those other city councilors are saying that this was a peaceful protest and everything here is unwarranted. Interesting. Archer, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some other organizations get in trouble. Archer reposted Stuckart's call and posted additional calls urging others to come and join, noting the intent was to risk arrest to block the exits to ICE. Interesting. So here's the peaceful protest. I did have a clip of it. Here's a quick snippet of it. Back in June, there was a lot going on. In fact, I actually did not cover this protest because there was so much else going on over in Portland, LA, and other parts of the country. And so here's the peaceful protest that we're being told is peaceful.
Press.
Mind you, though, that's the local police. That's not even the federal agents, by the way. And so we have an update.
Some new information in the
here we go. I'm hearing like an ad. There we go. I'm still hearing an ad.
Some new information in the cases of 9 people facing federal
So this is the update. This is what's happening right now.
charges stemming from the ICE protest June 11th in Spokane. So yesterday we received documents revealing 4 of them have court dates to change their plea. One of those hearings did happen today. Mikki Hatfield was initially facing 2 federal charges, so conspiracy to injure or impede a federal officer and assault on a federal officer. Hatfield has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to injure or impede, but not to the assault charge. As a condition, Hatfield has to follow certain pretrial conditions for the next 18 months. Then, if they're found compliant, they will withdraw their guilty plea and instead be charged with a misdemeanor. We did have an opportunity to speak with Hatfield outside of the courthouse. Here's what they had to say.
Hi there, my name is Mikki Hatfield. I'm not going to be making any specific comments about my case exactly. But I would just like to express how dismayed I am at the actions of this administration generally.
So his assault charges were dropped, yet he's still saying, I'm not happy with what's going on with the Trump administration. And by the way, thank you, Swamp Fox. He sent 1 T-SPLY gift membership. I appreciate it, and thank you guys for being a member. By the way, I set the memberships to 99 cents, so it's the cheapest as possible. YouTube will not let me go any lower. If you guys want to be members, it's 99 cents. That's what I set it to. But yeah, these are his statements.
My feelings throughout this case have not changed about our injustice system in general.
Again, Hatfield will appear again in 18 months. As for the other 3 named in the original indictment, their court appearances are scheduled for early next week.
Yeah, and so that's what we're waiting for right now, is to see whether or not the city councilor is going to be fully charged. But if Hatfield has been charged with conspiracy to impede, I personally believe they probably will also get charged. Now, I really wanted to cover this story. I don't have any time to do it, so we're going to do it right now. We're actually going to shift over to Charlotte. It kind of goes with the theme. Somebody else had their assault charges dropped. Not all of their charges, but an assault charge. Charlotte woman disputes federal charges after protesting Border Patrol activity outside the Homeland Security office. Now, I have a clip. I don't know if you guys remember, just a couple weeks ago, Chief Bovino and Border Patrol, they were in North Carolina, Charlotte. Operation Charlotte's Web. There is still activity going on, but I just want to show you guys, there were also protests going on just outside of the Homeland Security office. So let me just show you this clip real quick, and then we'll get to her charges have been dropped, apparently.
No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate!
And thank you, Danny, for being a member. Thank you so much.
I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No hate! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate! No fear! I have no business here, no hate!
Okay, I think you guys get it. Well, in this person's case, it looks like things got taken a little too far, allegedly. Now, her assault charges did get dropped, but to my knowledge, I think the obstruction has stayed.
You can make this a brighter Christmas for children in our area through WBTV's...
But we just gotta wait for this ad real quick. Whose charges were dropped? This person we're about to talk about. Philip said they practice their juvenile chants in their sleep. I'm new. It's a pleasure to meet me. Or you. Thank you, Christian. All right, here we go. Let's get this synced up. And where's the audio?
Prosecutors say she broke the
federal charges for her role protesting the Border Patrol.
Yeah, prosecutors say she broke the law by getting in the way of federal agents. Well, now court filings are providing new insight into that arrest.
Our Michael Warwick has more now after talking with that woman and her attorney.
Cell phone video of the incident appears to show a man stand in front of a federal officer's moving vehicle in protest. That man is being charged along with Heather Morrow for protesting the Border Patrol's activity. But Morrow says she was just acting within her rights while she was handcuffed and hauled to jail.
It's my duty. It's my constitutional duty.
Heather Morrow is pledging to fight federal charges alleging she obstructed federal agents outside Charlotte's Department of Homeland Security office.
I'm standing in my faith. I feel like it's a joke to them now, and they just want to make an example of me.
A court filing references social media video showing Morrow handcuffed on the ground November 16th with orange cones near the entrance that federal prosecutors say protesters placed there to block agents. Morrow was initially charged with felony assault of a federal officer, but that charge was dropped, and prosecutors announced Tuesday she'll instead face charges related to obstruction and failure to comply.
So I don't know, this might be a common theme where we see assault charges dropped, but other impediment charges might get brought up. We're really only seeing assault charges over in Portland. I mean, that's probably a little easier for them to get because there's footage of everything 24/7. And thank you, Cheryl Morehouse, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. And I hope you picked the 99-cent option. I made them as absolutely cheap as possible. YouTube will not let me make it 50 cents. Danny said, I don't understand still what they're trying to accomplish. No one is sympathetic when you act this way. And that's why I started making these videos, to fully investigate what is going on here. Because statistically speaking, the mass majority of Americans are okay with what's going on, but there is a majority who feels okay to either obstruct, impede, allegedly get in the way.
Javier De Janan is...
And thank you for the $10 donation from Local Rican Gaming. I love your videos. It's crazy that people will compare ICE to the bad guys in Germany. I don't think we can say that. I'm like, have you seen the photos of the... Yeah, I agree. That's why we make these videos. To try and get a fair analysis. And thank you so much for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it.
Representing her.
For me, I find this part of just my, not only my job, but my beliefs, that if someone is facing the full weight of the government just for speaking up, then we should stand up and represent these individuals.
Morrow, who is a Charlotte-Mecklenburg school bus driver, spent a night in jail. Just this week, she tells us, she was able to return to work.
I just wanted to keep the focus on that it is about the immigrants, the people that make up our beautiful city.
What is happening is that CBP gets to town, causes chaos, brings charges, leaves, and then the mess is left for us who stay here.
In all, federal prosecutors say Morrow faces 4 charges related to preventing federal officers from doing their job.
Okay. So I will be keeping track of that. Somebody left a comment and said, how are you saying you have no time to cover this story and now you're covering it? When I investigate individual stories, I spend a lot of time trying to find every single little detail. I mean, this is low-level stuff, just showing you guys this. So the reason for these live streams is just to do a brief overview of what we've already talked about for the day. And by the way, if you haven't already, turn on your post notifications because I will be going live at this time. I think I want to do either Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday. I don't want you guys to miss a thing. Now, this one to me is huge. I don't know how Portland is going to get away with this one. Gene said, what don't people understand about the difference between a legal and an illegal alien? So mind-boggling. In fact, the U.S. Constitution also makes a distinction. All right, this to me was a very interesting story. And then wait until we see some reactions.
Council approved a controversial ordinance, one that appears to be a not-so-subtle way of penalizing what some argue are excessive uses of force at the ICE building in South Portland. Okay, we've talked about the proposal several times in recent weeks, which came from District 3's Angelita Murillo. It's an annual fee for detention facilities that negatively impact the surrounding neighborhood. The fee amount is determined by the city. Now, that money would go toward cleanup efforts, police overtime, even helping residents and businesses relocate, costs that typically fall on taxpayers. There are 3 buildings in Portland considered detention facilities. In the proposal, the ICE building is not named specifically, though it mentions that Portland police spent around $300,000 at or near a single detention facility this year.
Now, in my personal opinion, that $300,000 could have really been whittled down if from the very beginning the police just showed up and told protesters to please calm down. And thank you, Vet for Peace, for being a member. Hi, T-SPLY, glad to catch your live. Yeah, I'm going to be going live a lot more, people. We're in it for the long haul. Ziggy, who's also a member, I really hope the owners sue. And I think the particular owner we're talking about here will sue. I'll give you just a little bit of insider info, and this is all I'll tell you guys. He is a massive Trump supporter, and I will leave it at that. Very, very big Trump supporter is what I'm being told from the experts on the ground. And what the Portland City Council is saying, look, this is for anybody who owns a detention facility, even though there's one facility that we keep talking about and we keep seeing on the news.
So this morning, Council approved the ordinance on a 9-2 vote, with one councilor absent. Dan Ryan and Steve Novick both voted against it. The last time this issue was put before the public, the testimony, as you can see there, turned into a shouting match. Security even had to remove a handful of people from chambers. Most of those people were demanding that council do more to get ICE out of the city.
And yes, we're going to watch the reactions. I think this is a little confusing to people. You would think that, hey, the city of Portland, they're going to sue these people who own the buildings. But no, the protesters are very mad. The protesters overwhelmingly do not like this new bill at all. They don't trust the city of Portland to actually allocate the money to where it needs to be.
Today, Murillo said, again, council can only do so much.
I think we all know here that land use will take at minimum 4 years. It's going to take a very long time to address this through the permit process, and our constituents can't wait for us to address the harms that are being done by detention facilities right now. So we have to address this right now. We have limited tools in our toolkit for how to address the harms that are being done by detention facilities, and I think we have to throw sand in the gears wherever we can. That is
okay. Swamp Fox asked, do you think you will do a video on the $8 billion fraud in Minnesota? I think I have a video. The way that I make my videos is I will write down a list of what I find interesting, and then that's on the list. I'll leave it at that. Minnesota. I've been covering Minnesota for a while now, but the $8 billion, yeah, it's on the list.
our responsibility.
Now, I think it's a great time to show you guys some of these raw reactions. Because, you know, what we do on my channel is I like to prove to you what I say, how a lot of these protesters are not fans of this bill. And I will let these protesters tell you why they're not fans. Protesters who have been tear gassed, pepperballed, arrested, and now they're sitting here asking, what are you doing?
Go ahead. I'll start. My name is Holly Brown, and I am with Portland Contra las Deportaciones and Revoke the ICE Permit PDX. Shame on you. Shame on the entire city council and the mayor for your lack of action surrounding the abuses of ICE in this city and for your lack of action on revoking the permit. But in particular, and today, shame on Councilor Murillo and Green for putting forth this performative stunt.
Angelita Murillo, that's who you just saw in the last clip, talking about how we got to put sand in the gear. This is all we have. She used to be like the star child of the Portland story. Whenever I talked about Portland, Angelita Murillo was always in the news. I was always talking about her in videos. Never did I ever imagine everything has turned kind of on her.
In an attempt to gain political clout and get activists off your back, all while ignoring the most obvious solutions to ICE's terrorism in Portland. I want to speak to Councilor Murillo in particular. You've been speaking about me on Instagram recently. Our organization has watched as you put forth more effort than anyone else on City Council to stall the efforts to revoke the ICE permit, all while gaslighting Portlanders by saying you're the most sympathetic to your goals. We don't buy it. You continue to spread the right-wing narrative that this ICE facility somehow serves immigrants, and you continue to belittle activists who put their lives on the line at ICE. We don't want fees levied at the ICE facility for the attacks on the community in the future because we don't want the building to be there at all in the future. By putting forth this ordinance,
Everybody to stay
you
quiet.
make it very clear that you plan to capitulate to allow the development of future detention facilities in Portland. Honestly, this is a pay-to-play ordinance in which the city can get paid off by these landlords in order to keep ICE functioning in Portland. That is insidious and it is dangerous.
So, hey, thank you so much to TK for becoming a member. Again, if you guys want to become a member, it's only 99 cents. I think I made it as cheap as possible. So, yeah, to give you guys a little bit of context here, if you guys are a little confused what's going on, back in July, the Portland City Councilors kept telling the protesters, hey, we finally found a way how we can possibly get rid of the Portland Federal Building. Okay, there is a contract we think that has been breached. And then here we are, just like in November, nothing gets done. Nothing at all gets done. And then Angelita Murillo says, okay, we can't get rid of the building, but we can fine the building owners and then we can make money. The argument they're making is, hey, you said from the beginning you're going to get rid of the building, and now you guys are making money from us getting arrested and protesting. So you can see why they're pissed off.
60 days have passed since the ICE facility was cited for its land use violation. The reconsideration process should already be in motion, and yet the city is allowing ICE to stall the appeals process. 560 people were arrested by ICE in Portland this last month. How many of these people could have been prevented from being arrested if ICE did not have a literal staging ground in the center of Portland? How many lives will you continue to allow to be ruined while you sit here and say that your hands are tied? Portland City Council serves the people, not the other way around. The people are demanding the revocation of the permit, not this fee. Rescind the ordinance and put forth legislation to shut down the facility tomorrow, today, immediately.
I don't want to eject. I don't want to need to move to ejecting people this evening, but if there continues to be applause and cheering, we will have to do so. Jazz hands, thumbs up, thumbs down. We've done it in other meetings. We can do it. Go right ahead.
Hello. Okay, so I actually watched like the full 3-hour video, and I have all the reactions memorized. Let me get you another one here. I'm just trying to show you guys why nobody's on board with this. It's interesting how like you would assume the protesters would love this. Finally, we're getting at the building owners, but this is not enough for them.
And I'm testifying in opposition to the half measure put forward by Councilors Murillo and Green. This ordinance is entirely useless in putting any sort of pressure on ICE, DHS, or their Portland landlord, Stuart Lindquist. Never mind the fact that the important fines wouldn't even begin to apply until after ICE renews their lease for the McAdam facility. Never mind that it's unclear where the proceeds would actually go to and if it would actually affect those, the victims of ICE terror. What's most egregious here is the notion that the way to pressure ICE and Stuart Lindquist is through putting a monetary cost on their actions. ICE's budget is going to skyrocket over the coming years, and whenever the city eventually decides to charge them, will be more than made up for by the tens of billions in extra funding they are receiving. This isn't even a slap on the wrist, it is just charging them a fee in order to give legitimacy to their actions.
And this is where I think the building owner can countersue the city of Portland. Like, how do you come up with a monetary amount? Like, if you throw one tear gas, is that like $85? That's the point these protesters are trying to make. And just so you know, I don't agree with like anything a lot of these protesters are saying. I'm just trying to show you guys this is what happens when you start to sell a fake dream to people who have been tear gassed and pepperballed and arrested. They don't like this ordinance. And again, make sure you guys are please liking the live stream if you have the capability. And for those of you watching TV, I know it's very difficult to do anything, so thank you for being here. And thank you for becoming members.
Maria, this is a quote from your FAQ on the ordinance that your staffer presented earlier. Quote, costs you do not feel are costs you won't prevent. I actually agree with the statement, which is why I think it is so outrageous that you are trying to cover the costs incurred by the city before taking any meaningful steps towards addressing the root cause of this suffering and pushing to revoke ICE's permit and to operate the concentration camp on McAdam Avenue. This ordinance, if passed, will give cover to the city's wholly insufficient response to ICE's terror. It will give the city something to point to and say, see, look, we're fighting back, while just offsetting the financial pressure on city government, leaving everyone else in the dust. You don't want to feel the cost because this is something you evidently do not care about. This is nothing more than an attempt to normalize ICE's presence while absolving the city of any responsibility to protect its inhabitants. Do your jobs and revoke the permit.
There you go. There was one more. Let me see if I can find it real quick. A lot of the comments had to do with the city councilor's social media use. And I actually reported on her social media use. Angelita Murillo loves social media. Loves using her TikTok. I think this is the one right here. Hold on, let me get it. It's a 3-hour video. We're not going to watch the full 3 hours.
ordinance. My name is Sky, and I'm here today to urge City Council to reject this performative ordinance and to instead either put pressure on permitting development to begin the reconsideration process for the ICE permit or to introduce legislation to revoke the permit yourselves. Every moment not spent on shutting down that facility means more lives are ruined and destroyed. That is what makes the slow pace of the city in dealing with this situation particularly harmful. Finally, after months of activists pushing, the city was issued a land use violation notice to the ICE facility. But now you continue to allow the wealthy landlord, Stuart Lindquist, to delay the process to shut down the facility. A meeting was supposed to take place to settle his appeal during the first week of November. 2 weeks later, it's been postponed, it's been extended, and his appeal has not been shut down. Why are we allowing him to stall? City Council may say that they didn't have evidence, but there's evidence every single day of the facility gassing the neighborhood and violating the terms of the land use agreement that require it to not present a danger to the neighborhood. The fact that—
All right, I think you guys get the point. Let me see, I think this clip right here, people just walk out.
We're still talking about—
Yeah, right here.
And given the way this is—
And then we're gonna move on.
—structured, and given the fact that the purpose of the fee is not only to cover doing that.
Do something.
This individual from the meeting who's standing up so that we can continue our work. I'm looking to our security team here.
And we're still talking about, like, where do the fees go? Yeah. What? Like 10 cops? Yeah. Come on, do something, please. Like, this just happened 10 hours ago. These are being sent to the fucking cops so they can continue. They're so harassed protesting at the ICE facility.
Conduct is continuing to disrupt the meeting.
No collaboration, but y'all sweep the camp, right? You sweep the mutual aid, you sweep
front row, and I'm going to ask that our team eject the person yelling in the front row from the meeting.
I'll go. Collaborator.
That's the mayor, bro. Tiffany's eating. You guys aren't paying attention with the
Yeah, this was another big one. A lot of people were like caught eating during this meeting. So all of these protesters were like super upset. I don't have the video here, but there is a montage that some of these people posted on TikTok, and they're all pointing to everybody just eating and not paying attention. So yeah. And thank you, Janesi says, love your channel. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's move on. So yeah, that's the fee. We already talked about this in yesterday's stream. I don't want to talk about it again. Oh yeah, I seen somebody make a comment. So apparently there might be a brand new ICE detention facility in Portland. Now, whether or not it's true, I have no idea, but there's a report. So let's watch this video real quick. Now, the new area for the facility is definitely rather interesting because if this does happen, I couldn't even imagine what type of protest would happen here. Okay.
A federal contractor is looking to hire staff for an ICE detention facility in Portland. According to job listings posted Tuesday, Acuity International is seeking applicants for a warden, assistant warden, operations manager, and other management positions responsible for overseeing the daily operational functions of an ICE detention facility. The jobs are posted as notional, meaning the company is recruiting in anticipation of winning a government contract. On Acuity International's website, the job location is listed as Portland. On Indeed, the same jobs are tied to 7000 Northeast Airport Way, which is Portland International Airport. Spokespersons for the Port of Portland and the Oregon Air National Guard Base both say they were unaware of any plans for a detention center at or near the airport.
Yeah, I see some comments saying, no, there's a new facility opening up on the coast of Oregon. Yeah, that's totally different. It looks like there might be another brand new facility in Portland. So a bunch of different facilities possibly opening up in Oregon overall.
Currently, there are no ICE detention centers in Oregon. Portland does have an ICE processing facility in the South Waterfront neighborhood, which has been the focal point of protests for months. The job listings for an ICE detention facility in Portland mirror ads posted last month for similar positions in Newport. In late November, coastal residents and local officials packed a city council meeting to oppose a proposed detention center at the municipal airport. The Texas-based contractor behind the plan, Asset Protection and Security Services, later withdrew its lease request and backed out of the project.
All right, so we'll see what happens. It's definitely a very strategic plus for ICE or Homeland Security to have a facility or processing center at an airport. We see that with Alligator Alcatraz. Let's see, state of emergency video. Let's watch this. So I'm going to be making a video, I think, on this tomorrow. Somebody asked me about the Minnesota fraud. This happened in Minneapolis today.
We are identifying who he is. By that point, we will let you know if there's a warrant. You are not a warrant. Stay back.
I apologize about the whistles. When I make these videos and I edit them, my ears start ringing, guys. It's very difficult to edit these videos with all the whistling. I didn't delete any comments. What else do I got for you? Oh yeah, a little bit of Chief Bovino today. Was approached by protesters. I'll be talking about this tomorrow. Let me know what you guys feel about this. I already know this is going to be loud.
¡Corran! ¡Corran! ¡No salgan! ¡La migra! ¡No salgan! ¡No salgan! ¡No salgan, por favor! ¡Aquí en las puertas! ¡No salgan! ¡Por favor, no salgan! ¡No les abran la puerta a nadie! ¡Que aquí está migración! ¡No les abran la puerta a nadie! ¡Aquí está migración!
New Orleans to Border Patrol City. So it's good to be back. Good to be back here in the friendly South.
Is your previous time here?
I'll tell you what, watching these clips with Chief Bovino, I don't think he's phased one bit at all. In fact, I actually think the narrative war is really in favor of Chief Bovino. I really do. I know we're like seeing a bunch of protesters and blowing the whistles and all that. To be very truthful with you guys, in this current situation and operation, I think Homeland Security by far is winning the narrative war by far. We're not seeing as much pushback like we are over in Chicago. Bovino walks down the street and so many people are trying to take pictures with him. He has a video that came out today talking about how he drinks 2 energy drinks on Friday. Yeah. You know, little things like that, I think people really resonate with Bovino. And the type of people they already arrested during this operation, it's very hard. Very, very hard to try and protest Border Patrol when you look into who was arrested within the last 2 days. Very, very bad crimes. I'm not even going to say what the crimes are because it involved the youth. Swamp Fox said, don't know what's worse, the whistles or the screaming wokes. Dank said, jingle bells, the song is cool, the bells suck. And thank you guys for being members. And what I want to do for the members, I want to put your comments in the videos and then react to your comments. So I want to do like the funniest member comments or best member comments. So if you want to become a member, it's super cheap. It's 99 cents. Made it as cheap as possible. And I'll be covering this in detail tomorrow, talking about all the new updates, all the new arrests, stuff like that. I don't want to go too far in. But let's talk about this. There's a lot of focus right now on ICE activity in Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota.
Opening a new channel in its immigration crackdown as ICE agents descend on Minneapolis to root out illegal Somali immigrants. The operation targeting as many as 500 Somalis in the city. In New Orleans, meanwhile, a city council meeting descended into chaos yesterday when an anti-ICE protester and protesters stormed council chambers, shouting down officials, clashing with police over the launch of Operation Catahoula Crunch. Joining me now is the Department of Homeland Security Public Affairs Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, good to have you. Thanks very much for being here. What can you tell us about these new plans in Minneapolis and elsewhere?
Well, absolutely, Marianne. Thank you for having me. Out of Minneapolis, ICE is already on the ground there. USCIS has been doing investigations there for months about immigration fraud. What we're seeing on the ground as far as these immigration cases is that nearly half of them have resulted in fraud or some other defrauding of the system, which is a huge problem. Charges are coming. But on the ground, ICE has already made dozens and dozens of arrests, including a convicted murderer.
Yeah. Again, it's very hard for a protester to stand up and say, you know, you got to stop what you're doing. And then ICE is like, well, we just found this murderer. Like, what do you want us to do? Thank you so much, Astro Queen, for the $5. And you didn't even leave a comment. That's a very big flex when somebody just drops money and doesn't say anything, just walks away. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It would have been a lot cheaper for you to be a member, though, 99 cents. But I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now, one thing I do want to say, this messaging is a little misleading. Just so you guys know, ICE has always been in the area, and ICE has actively been arresting people left and right. It just so happens that ICE now has a lot more support politically, and the possibility of more federal agents coming into the area. But ICE, they've already been conducting these investigations for a while now. These investigations take a long time. It's not like, okay, illegal immigrant. They have to figure out everything about you. They have to get the warrants ready. They have to get the operation ready. Border Patrol, they get to just sort of stroll along, set up these checkpoints, ask if you're an American citizen or not. ICE doesn't have that luxury due to the manpower and who they're trying to target. So I just want you guys to know, in this area of the country, ICE has always been operating.
Convicted gang members who have just been released back onto Minneapolis' streets to terrorize their people. And it's such a shame that Tim Walz and the mayor there turn a blind eye and are really complicit in what's happening to Minneapolis. So Secretary Noem is laser focused on this issue, and we're going to bring real results, not just for President Trump, but for the American people.
Yeah, I mean, so is this connected to what we saw in terms of the fraud over the COVID payments?
There is a connection there. It's been really a whole of government approach. President Trump has done such a phenomenal job of removing these silos between our intelligence agencies, between the FBI, the DEA, Homeland Security investigations. We've been all over this. I mean, we've also seen, you know, a nexus of terrorism there as far as this Somali population and others in these communities giving money to terrorist cells outside of our country.
So this is the really big story, and somebody made me smirk. John said, Bovino could be the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, that's also the same guy who did Mail Call on the History Channel. I don't know how old you are, but for anybody who's over the age of, I don't know, 25 years old, the show Mail Call on History Channel. But this right here is the big news, whether or not there's some sort of money being sent overseas to not so good people. And thank you, Dank, for the $10. Dank says, been watching your channel since you started. Always straightforward with backup research. Love your show. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for the $10. That's quite a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I do my best to try and be as fair as possible. And one thing I realize when you make these videos, if you just say what the facts are, the majority of the people are actually a lot more reasonable than you think. It's very hard to argue with facts, let me tell you.
That's something we're certainly tracking down.
Meanwhile, ICE announced the arrests of multiple Afghan nationals. They were released into the country by the Biden administration during Operations Allies Refuge and Allies Welcome, following the disastrous pullout of Kabul in 2021. Convictions there include crimes of kidnapping and child molestation. More than 5,000 Afghan nationals brought into the country in 2021 were reportedly flagged for national security reasons. How is that possible, Tricia? These people were flagged for national security issues, and yet they're still in the country?
And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of people are also confused about this, and this is why I make these videos about sanctuary cities in general. Like, there are people who are flagged for bad things, yet nothing seems to happen. So I'll be completely honest with you, I'm a little confused. Like, now, all of a sudden, according to Homeland Security, we are now seeing this fraud in Minneapolis, and now we're finding it. according to the data, it didn't just happen overnight. It's just that the Trump administration decided to just go through with these investigations, and it looks like they're actually finding things. And thank you. I'm Stupides. Great name. Thank you for the membership. And I hope you did the 99-cent one. That's the best one you can get. Thank you.
They were. And we've had a huge uphill battle on this issue because there was absolutely no vetting by the Biden administration when they were letting 100,000, possibly even 200,000 of these Afghan nationals into our country, primarily military-age fighting men. We're talking about no biometric data, no criminal background checks, no cyber, no financial crime background checks. Really, they were taking statements of fact, vouchers from other people who said, yes, these are good people, they should come into the country. When we're just seeing 3 individuals in the last week alone who came under this Biden parole program, and they turn out to have terrorist interests or commit terrorist acts, as we just saw just 2 days ago out of...
Yeah, it's bad stuff. And I mean, this happened not too long ago, the withdrawal. And I think those images, I think we will remember them forever, like other images that happen in world history. I don't understand how it was humanly possible to make sure every single person was like good to go. And so that's what the Trump administration, Homeland Security is saying. We're going to start to investigate it. And thank you so much for the $10 donation. Anita, that's a lot of money. I wish you would do more live content. Love your stuff. Well, I am going to be doing more live content. I'm going to be doing a lot more live content every single night. It's either going to be Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday. 9:30 Eastern every single night, so we can do recaps and talk about everything that's going on. So make sure to turn on your post notifications. I think you have to use your cell phone, and I know even that doesn't always tell you guys, so I'm doing everything I can to give you guys notifications, but I think post notification, liking the videos, that's going to help you see the other live streams.
Virginia, we have...
So yeah, I'll stop right there. What else do I got for you guys? Let's watch this clip, and then I think we'll call it a night. Again, these are just recap shows. And then I actually have to start work for the videos tomorrow. And thank you guys for being here.
I move to adopt resolution number 2025-33 declaring an emergency related to the impacts of federal immigration enforcement.
Second. We have a motion by Nishioka, second by Nordike. Councilor, to your motion.
I should probably give you a little context. So this is going to be from David Medina, gives us a context. David Medina has been on the ground outside of the Portland ICE building. The Salem, Oregon City Council voted to declare a state of emergency over ICE operations and deportations. One of the city councilors, Linda, actually teared up at one point. I personally will not be surprised if the entire state of Oregon declares a state of emergency. I know that sounds crazy, but the state of Oregon is even willing to possibly prosecute individual federal agents. So I'm calling it right now. I'm not going to be surprised in 2026 if we see some sort of state of emergency or some sort of something in that direction. Because we're seeing cities and little areas declare these state of emergencies because of ICE.
Thank you, Mayor Hoy. I think we have all heard a great deal of testimony, and again, thank you all for coming forward and presenting your information. I also appreciate those that have left. We also received written testimony this week and last week, so again, thank you for all of that. I know that this is difficult for all of us, and it is not easy for us as we sit in this chamber trying to figure out how we can help and what we are able to do. I know that this has impacted me personally. I will add that my husband is American Japanese. His family were interned during the war, so I know that we have a history of similar activities. And I'm sorry if I'm going to cry. So this is not something that's new to this country. It's something that has been ongoing. And I do feel we need to find ways to help those that are bombarded by this activity.
Homie MT said, I thought sanctuary cities were only okay if not breaking federal law. This makes no sense. And that's why I'm playing this video for you, because to the Trump administration, they're calling this out and saying, I mean, you guys can do this if you want. We understand why you might be upset. And Tom Homan says this all the time. Tom Homan from the Trump administration always says, it's okay if you hate me. You are allowed to hate the deportations. That's fine. But you just can't get in the way. And so the Trump administration, they're tracking all of this activity, and they're also asking the same question, like, okay, what is going on here? Like, what is the intent here? That's the question. And I make these videos, and you guys can ask the same question.
This is just a beginning, and I don't know if we'll have other opportunities. So, again, I just wanted to express my sincere regret and concern and sorrow that this country likes to find ways to cause fear.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know exactly what declaring a state of emergency does in terms of like ICE agents. I just don't. I haven't done enough research into it, and I think it's a new thing, so I have no idea. This is not like a state of emergency because there's a hurricane. So maybe I'll do a video on that, but I'm just going to be honest. I have no idea what a state of emergency means over ICE operations. I truly don't. Because you start to get into some legal territory. If you start to use money to help people out who are not American citizens, that would be a big problem. Like, that's legally a big issue, so. Middleton says, it seemed to me ICE should consider water-based. Yeah, I mean, maybe. We'll see what happens. Not too long ago, Katie Daviscourt, a journalist we work with, one of my favorite journalists, she talked to the Federal Protective Services at the Portland Federal Building, and they said the hardest thing about their job is they want to allow the protesters to protest. But then when they cross the line, it's up to the federal government to determine when is that line crossed. So unfortunately for federal agents, a lot of times the only way to know if the line is crossed is if like somebody either gets hurt or there's damage. So when I make these videos, I want to make it very clear. I always say this, the protest, there's not an issue with the protesting, it's the going beyond. And that's why you even see in this police report, they say that in the first line. We respect and honor everyone's right to peacefully protest. However, the few who choose to cross the line from protest of violence and destruction will be held accountable. So that is the, that's what the Trump administration always says. All right, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I guess this is a live stream too. I'm so used to making videos. I won't be going live this weekend unless there's like a state of emergency, like actual emergency. But yeah, make sure you guys are looking Monday through Friday, 9:30 Eastern. I will be going live every single night, either Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Thank you guys so much for your support with the donations, with the memberships. Thank you for liking. Thank you for the comments and subscribing. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we have some pretty good videos coming out tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it, but wait until you see what comes out tomorrow. I'm shocked I'm making a video on it. So thank you guys for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later. Please pray for peace. Thank you, guys.